All right. Good evening. You're welcome to today's lectures. Today, the subject we are going to treat today is use of English. Use of English. We continue from where we stopped. In the parts of speech. Parts of speech. Parts of speech. Lexical items or terms. Parts of speech. We continue from where we stopped. I think we are still in noun. We are still in noun, right? In our last class, we defined noun. After that, we discussed the forms of noun. Then after that, I think that's where we stopped. But specifically, we discussed, yes, we stopped at forms of noun, yes. Forms of noun. And specifically, where did we stop there in the forms of noun? Irregular. Now, are you sure? Check well. Okay, yes, I gave assignment. I can remember now. So, have you done the assignment? What's the assignment again?
Does chief change to VES?
Chief.
Yes.
Okay,
Or do you just add S? Or does it change at all? Or whether it is chief?
Okay, so what it is?
Chiefs.
Okay, plural is what? Chiefs. Chiefs. Okay, you just add S to it. Good. All right, that's good. Okay, we stopped at the regular and irregular plurals, right?
Yes.
So today we will go over to possessive. The possessive forms of what? Noun. The possessive form. And in this possessive form, we also have the singular possessive form, and we also have the plural possessive form. Now, what does possessive form talk about? What does possessive form of noun indicate? It indicates that the ownership of anything, of a particular thing. Ownership. It indicates what? Ownership. You say, as you can say, you say something like this: Okechukwu's bag. Okechukwu's bag. Chinwendo's shoes. The girl's pen. The boys shirt, something like that. Now, there's something about this possessive form. The possessive form always goes with what? Apostrophe. Am I communicating? It goes with what? Apostrophe. Very, very important. One is that it indicates what? Ownership. Then secondly is that it goes with what? Good. And if you put apostrophe, the next thing that happens is that S will come in. Are we together? S will do what? Come in. S will do what? Come in. But if there is already S at the end of that noun, if there's already an S at the end of that noun, you don't put what again?
S.
You don't put what again?
S.
Does he hold it in every circumstance? Does he hold it in every circumstance? Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure? Okay, what of? James. James ends in S, right?
Just put apostrophe.
Jesus. Charles. What else? Moses. So, if you want to talk about James now, in the possessive, maybe you want to talk about a house that is known to be James' own. So how will you do? How will you write it? Will you write it as like this or like this? James's own. Is it James's or James' own?
James.
Are you going to write it like this or like this? This one, Uncle. What about Charles? Is it Charles after S apostrophe, no S again? Or Charles after S that ends the Charles, you put apostrophe, then put S. Which one?
Second one.
The second one. What made you pick the second one? Can you see the board?
Yes.
Okay, let's conclude. Moses. What of Moses? Is it Moses or Moses? Is it Moses's or Moses? Is it Moses's or Moses? Moses scepter, Moses staff. Is it Moses staff or Moses' staff? Is it Moses staff or Moses' staff? Moses staff, Moses' staff. Is it Charles's cap or Charles' cap? Is it Charles' shoe or Charles's shoes? Why are you laughing now? Is it Jesus's or Jesus? All right, let's pick the correct one here now. Okay, here now. For James James on his own ends in what? S. Now, the possessive form for James is this. This now, this has what? Because James already ends in what? S. You cannot follow the same pattern in Jesus and Moses. Know this point. In James now, James is James. You write out James normal, then put apostrophe and what? S. Are we together? Are we together? Not this one. Now here, Jesus, not this one, but what? This one. Charles, not this one, but this one. Charles, Moses, not this one, but this one. It shock you. She said, how? Okay, let me explain. Listen carefully. Naturally, for some words that naturally ends in S. Hope you're listening. For words or nouns that naturally ends in what? S. Naturally, you do what? you put the additional apostrophe, additional s after what? Apostrophe. For words or nouns that ends in s naturally, you put the apostrophe, then put the what? S, the additional s. But there's something here. If that s is not pronounced in the word naturally, if that s is not pronounced in the word, good, you don't put additional s. Do you understand what I'm saying now? What I just said now? You know, there are some words you see here. James ends in what? S. And you pronounce the S. It's James. It ends in what? S. And that S, you pronounce that S, right? Good. In that case, you put the additional what? S. That's the rule. Note this rule. So that's why this is James. You put the additional. So that's why the S, the James, an apostrophe alone is not enough for James, because James ends in what? S. You put the additional what? S after the what? Apostrophe. Jesus, is it Jesus or Jesus? That S, this last one, is it S? Jesus, is it Jesus or Jesus? Is it S? Good. That's why for here now, you don't put additional S, because it doesn't. You can't, as you, even though you look at it, you spell it S, but you don't pronounce it what? S. That's why you do what? You don't add additional S. Apostrophe after that last S as spelled is enough. You don't put additional S. Am I communicating? Now, let's look at this. Pronounce this name. Charles. So the last letter, is it S? By letter, by spelling, is S. Is it also pronounced as S? So Charles. So Charles, for Charles, if you put apostrophe alone and stop, is not enough. You must put the additional what? S. What of this? Is it Moses? Is it Moses or Moses? Moses. Is it Moses or Moses? Does S end it?
Yes. No.
Does S end as in, not by spelling, no, by pronunciation? Does S end it? S doesn't end it. So that's why you don't add additional S here. This is enough for that. Am I communicating? Is it clear now? You know, you ask how. That's why I started explaining how. I said it before, you were like, what is this man talking about? You ask how. So that's why I explained. Any question here? In absence of any question, we'll enter the plural possessive form. Okay, before we go over to the plural possessive form, there's something I want to point out. If you noticed, when I started with singular possessive form, I just went straight to the words that ends in what? S. Not every word ends in S, but why I didn't bother myself going into those ones is that, and we all know, even from our primary school, that there are words that don't end in what? S. You can just simply get their plural by putting apostrophe and what? S. Something like boy. Boy ends in what? Y. Just put apostrophe. After the Y, you get what? Boys. You have girl. Just put Y-M apostrophe after L. You have what? Gears. Am I communicating? Gears. the girl's shoe. Abraham is singular, and Abraham doesn't end in what? S. So we have Abraham's son is Isaac. Let's assume we want to form a sentence. Abraham's son. Am I communicating? Now, these words, they don't end in what? S. Simply, if the word you want to write in a singular possessive form doesn't end in S, just simply add what? Apostrophe and S. Simple. But if it ends in S and is pronounced as S, two things are involved. If it ends in S and that S, that last letter, is pronounced in pronunciation as S, then you can form singular. You can use it as for a formation of singular possessive form by doing what? By adding apostrophe and additional what? S. But if that S that ends that word is not pronounced as S, you do what? Just add what? Only what? Apostrophe. You don't add an additional what? S. Is it clear? Is it clear? That's if the word ends in S. Now let's go to plural form. I just wanted to go the way I started with what is it called? Word that end in S. If you're not careful, you think that it's only word that ends in S we should talk about. But I believe I had in mind that we are familiar with that one. And this is where the confusion starts. Jump can set things up in this form. You see options. You become confused. If you don't know the rule, you will fail it. Am I communicating? Now let us go to plural form. There's some things I want you to note in the plural form. Plural possessive form. Let me ask you a question. Let me start from a question. Okay, child. Is it plural or single? Is it plural or singular? Singular. And what is the possessive form of child? Childs, right? Good. After D, you have apostrophe, right? And S. What is the plural form of child? Children. So if you want to form the possessive form of these children, what will it be? Children's. You put, so at the end of the N, you put what? Apostrophe and put what? S. Now let me shock you. What if you have a word like this? Let's say, let me start with boy. This is boy, right? The possessive form is what? Boys. This is the singular, right? Now, what is the plural form of boy? Boy. Boys. Good. So boy is what? Boys. Let me write boys here. Now, what is the possessive form of this plural? Boys. Boys.
The possessive. Boys.
You write boys, What else? Where? After the S. Good. After S. What is the plural form of gear? Gears. Okay. So if the possessive form is what? Gears. So can you explain what happened here? Can you explain why when you come to boy, listen carefully. Can you explain why when you come to boy, you see apostrophe? If you want to get the possessive form of boy, you see apostrophe after Y before S. But here now, when you now want to get the possessive form of boys, you now see Y, then S before apostrophe. What happened? What happened? Can you explain what happened there?
Because that one is a consonant.
Consonants. No, it are not. It are nothing to do with consonants. My question is this: why in the singular form of the possessive singular for boys, the apostrophe is after y before the s. Now, but when you now go to the plural, the apostrophe now comes left y and now appear after s. Why? Is it that the apostrophe shifted or what? It is shift?
Yes.
No, you don't shift. That's what I want to find. That's what I want to explain. Now, let me explain something here. This is where jam set question. People they confused. Now, let me explain what happened. This apostrophe doesn't shift. The apostrophe no shift. See what happens. Let's change this thing to plural. Let's change this to what? Plural. Are we together? Let's change this to what? Plural. Let's change the singular possessive form of boy to plural. See what it should be. It will retain the s after y. See what it is. For guess, it was that s after in plural form. That s after y is still retained. The apostrophe did not shift. The apostrophe is still where it is. The same thing happened to gear. You know, gear, the plural form of gear is what? Gears. Now, S after L. The apostrophe is still where it is. The apostrophe did not shift to anywhere. See what happened. Look up. What actually happened is that because there is S here and there is S here, one S will now do what? Go. So this and the S that will go is one at the outermost listing. The outermost S will go. This S will go, and this S will go. That's why it looks like this. Is it clear? Now, to put it as a rule, look up. If the noun forms its plural by adding s. If the noun forms its plural by adding what? S. You simply put apostrophe in front of after that what? S. Simple. You get the possessive form. Is it clear? If the noun forms its plural by addition of s, you simply, if you want to get the possessive form, you simply put apostrophe in front after the what? The s. Is it clear? Or for a better understanding, you write it as it appears. You just put apostrophe and put the final s. But because the two s, one should be there, not the two of them. You do what? You remove the what? The outer one. Is it clear? Now, another rule. However, if the noun does not form its plural by adding s, if the noun does not form its plural by adding s, or if the noun doesn't add s at all, you know, a noun can form its plural by adding something else that is not s, or the noun, if the noun forms its plural by adding some other thing that is not s, or that the noun doesn't add s at all in its plural, it remains the way it is in its plural. You simply do what? Add apostrophe and what? S. Let me shock you now. Let me shock you now. Oh, yeah, tell me. People. This is where these people fail this thing in exam almost every year. Now, people. What is the plural form of people? What is the plural form of people? Okay, let's start from people is singular, right? Now, if you want to form the possessive form of people, what will you do? What it is? Add simply add what? Apostrophe and what? Yes, confirm. Good. Now, let's go to the plural form. What is the plural form of people? Peoples. She said that the plural form of people is peoples. Hey. What is the plural form of people? Peoples. People, yes. People is still people. People is still what? People. Yeah. People is still what? People. They are not like peoples. So we have agreed now that people is still what? People. Good. Now, if people is still people, now let me now ask, what is the possessive plural form of people? Oh yeah, how do I write it? Tell me. No, say it with your mouth.
Okay, you write people. Then you add S, apostrophe, and that S.
Why would you add S when you say with your mouth here that people doesn't form plural by adding S? So why would you add S again? We are not one that told me that people is still people, whether it's singular or in plural form.
You write people, then you write people, then apostrophe, and then S.
Good. People is singular, people plural. So you to say form the what? Possessive by just adding apostrophe and what? S. If you go to jam question, you see something like this. See, you see something like this. People, see, people. Not only in jam, go outside. If you a lot of banners, you see this thing like this. It's wrong. This is correct. A lot of banners bear this thing. Okay, go and check our banner and tell me what you see. They go now. They're supposed to you see people school up down. Tell me what you see there and come back fast. All right, which one? What do you see there? Peoples. Apostrophe. After E, apostrophe and S, right? Good. Please be careful when dealing with people. When writing the possessive form of people. The possessive form of people, this is wrong. This is wrong. You don't say the peoples, yes, but the apostrophe should come after E before the S. The apostrophe should not come after what? S. So this is what? Wrong. This is what? Correct. Don't worry, with time we'll start solving questions, we pass questions. You begin to appreciate this is we are doing here. I'll select some questions, maybe in your next class. I'll select some questions. I'm able to send it online, so you can do it before our next English class. Some question that has to do with this nouns, forms of noun, possessive form. You answer it in our next English class. We'll review it. It will help you to appreciate what you are doing. Is it clear? Is it clear? Now, any questions so far? Now, let's continue. Okay. Let me give another instance. What is the child, right? Singular form child, right? What is the plural form of child? Children. Good. Now, the singular possessive form of child is what? Child. This is child, right? This is child. It should be what? The child's what? Shoe. The child's school, right? Good. Now, remember I told you before I started it that if you want to form for nouns that form their plural without adding s. Remember, people. There's nothing added in people. People is people. Whether singular or what? Plural. People is people. Sorry, you came late. We are discussing nouns, and we are talking about forms of nouns. We'll talk about the singular form and the plural form. No, maybe after I'll send you a link. You're not on WhatsApp now. Are you on WhatsApp now? Okay, maybe I'll send a link to the lectures. If I upload it online, I'll send a link to your mom so you can listen to it when we started use of English. So you can come up to where we are now. Is it okay by you? Okay, I'll do that because we cannot be going back. That's why we record our lectures. Now let's continue. Now, people, whether singular or plural, people remains what? People. So people is part of the nouns that don't form their plural by adding what? S. In fact, people say that in people nothing is added, but in child, from child to children, R-E-N is what? Added. What is added? Added is not what? S, but what? R-E-N. So the possessive form of children, you just add apostrophe and what? S. Simple. So we have just as we did here. We have children. Just add apostrophe and what? S. Because the singular child doesn't form its plural by adding what? S. Had it been there's something like childs. That's where you can now have something like this. Had it been there's something like childs, if it exists, you can now have something like this. Remember, child's normal. The plural should be there, right? Please don't write child. They don't like child, so I'm just using it to explain something. Normal S should be there, right? Then you put your apostrophe and what? The second word S. But because of the double S, you do what? Claim the final one. You have it as just as you have a boy. Boys. Possessive form of boys is what? Boys. You maintain the boys. Then put your apostrophe and put your S. But because there are two S here, you claim the last one. That's why boys look like this. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? So the apostrophe doesn't shift. You only claim the last S. That's exactly what happened. Okay? That's exactly what happened. Now, let's go to the next aspect of this. Okay, I said that I will list some other words. I talk about children. Okay, let's look at other ones are just the same thing. Students. The plural form of student is what? How does the noun student form its plural? By adding what? S, right? So if student forms its plural by adding S, you have students, right? Now, what is the possessive form of that plural? How will you now get the possessive form? Adding what? The S in the plural form should be there. Don't shift it. It should be there. Then you add what? Apostrophe and what? Are you following? And S. Because the two S are there now, you clean the last one. That's why you now have students. After S, you have apostrophe and stop there. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Good. A lot of people fail this aspect in many exams. A lot of students fail this because it can be confusing. That's why I spend time to explain it. Does it make sense? Good. Now let's continue. If you learn it now, it's one. You will not learn it again. You just be solving questions and be going. Now let's go to, we are done with forms of noun. Let's go to classes or subclasses of noun. Let's go to subclasses of noun. Subclasses of noun. Now, basically we have different subclasses of noun. In some textbook, in some schools of thought, they just list all of them. But I'll categorize them in such a way that you will understand them. First of all, I will list them normal way of what we used to know as the way they list types of what? Classes of noun. But there's how I will categorize them for better understanding. So let me list them first. We have proper noun. Proper noun. We have proper noun. We have common noun. We have countable nouns, uncountable nouns. We have concrete noun, and we have abstract noun. Proper nouns, common nouns, count or simply countable nouns, uncountable nouns, concrete nouns, abstract nouns. Now, when you say what comes to your, in a better understanding, you know, if you watch these 6 classes I call, if you watch 2, they can exist in pairs of opposites. Proper noun is proper noun and common noun. They are more like opposite. True of us. Proper noun and what? Common noun. Then countable nouns and what? Uncountable noun. The pair are opposite. True of us. Then concrete and abstract. True of us. Yes. This will help you to understand it better. But any way you present it is okay. Now let's pick the one after the other. We have proper noun. Have you heard of the term proper noun? What comes to your mind whenever you hear proper noun? Any idea? Chinwe, what comes to your mind whenever you hear proper nouns? What comes to your mind whenever you hear proper noun? Tell us. Just feel free to tell us whether you know what to say. Just say it. What comes to your mind. Just say it.
Like, for example, now this is my pen. Is a proper noun.
Okay, this is my pen. Pen is a proper noun. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see now. So what comes to your mind whenever you hear proper nouns?
Words that begin with capital letter.
Words that begin with capital. So everywhere begin with capital letter is a proper noun.
Like for example now, name of months, days. Places.
There's something you are missing. What you're saying is not that, but you are missing the main thing. There's something you are missing. What you are saying is just additional, just to support but there's something you are missing. Who can help us? Who can help us? Who can help us? Say it again.
Specific.
Good. So, a proper noun is a noun that refers to a particular person, place, or thing. It's specific, you know. Is a noun that refers to a particular person, place, or thing. That's a proper noun. As she's pointed out, it starts with what? With a capital what? Letter. Proper noun starts with a capital letter. And sometimes proper nouns can exist as group of words. As a group of words. So whenever a proper noun exists as a group of words, now the first letter of the nouns in that group of words must start with what? Capital letter. I will give examples of what I mean by that. Now, something like, let's start from the name of a place. Abuja. Abuja is a place, right? It's a particular what? Place. True of us. That's why if you want to write Abuja, whether it is within a sentence, Abuja must start with what? A must start with what? Capital letter. You don't write Abuja like this. Abuja. You don't write Abuja. You can say because it's not at the beginning of the sentence, it's at the middle of the sentence. Let me write Abuja like this. It's wrong. Abuja is a proper noun. You start with what? A capital what? Letter. Days of the week should start with what? Capital. They are proper noun. Monday. So if you are writing essay or writing something and you want to write Tuesday, you write Tuesday with small letter. Start with small. It's wrong. Write what? Abuja is wrong. Sorry, Abuja small letter is wrong. Capital letter is correct. Tuesday. So you start Tuesday with a small letter. It's wrong. You start Tuesday with a what? Capital what? Letter. Tuesday. Yeah. Am I communicating? That's wrong to start with small letter. Chinwendu. Chinwendu is the name of a particular person. True of us. So there's no way in this life I want to write Chinwendu. I start Chinwendu because Chinwendu appears in the middle of a sentence. I will start with small letter. It's wrong. Very, very what? Wrong. I should write Chinwendu like this, irrespective of wherever it appears in a sentence. Why do I always forget your name? Remind me again, please. Kamsi yo. I want to write Kansi yo Chuku. I want to write Kansi yo Chuku, and I'll start with small letter. Kamsi yo Chuku. That's wrong. I should start with what? Capital letter. Kamsi yo Chuku. Yes, that is what it should be. Because it's the name of a particular person. Now, I cannot come and say Okay, so something like I told you that sometimes it can proper nouns may appear as a group of words. The one that is popular is United Kingdom. United Kingdom. You want to write United UK, right? You want to write United Kingdom. United Kingdom. United Kingdom. And you start with unite. Remember what I said? And if it appears as a group of words, right? All the nouns in that word must start with what? The proper nouns there must start with what? Capital letter. You cannot say you want to write United Kingdom. Then you start United with capital letter, right? Then start Kingdom with small letter. That's wrong. That's what? Wrong. This is what? Correct. United must be start with a capital letter. The kingdom there must start with a what? Capital letter. That's why in the abbreviation you see UK. Both U and K are in capital letter. They say United States of America. You don't say because United is started it. Then you write United. You there is capital letter. Then you start writing states. Start state with a small letter and start America with a small letter. Is wrong. It should be what? United States of what? America. If you watch, of here is not a noun. True of us. What is of? Is a preposition, right? We'll see discuss preposition. So watch now. United. U is capital. S is capital. A is what? Capital. United States of America. Any question? This is proper noun for you. Please help me clean this board. This is proper noun for you. Okay, let's look at any question in proper noun. Okay, now let's look at common noun. Let's look at common noun. Let's look at common noun. Before we go into common noun, please, I want you to add in that list of nouns. I want to add collective nouns. I have a reason for that. Even though collective noun have one or two things to do with proper, but just write collective noun there. Yes. By the time we go into common nouns, you see the relationship, but still write it. We have mentioned 7, right? Proper noun, common noun. What again? What else? Countable, uncountable, concrete, abstract, and what? Collective. Good. I will say one or two things on it. Maybe I will talk about collective immediately after common because they are somehow related. Okay. They have some relationship to get them. They share some things in common. Now let's look at common noun. Common noun, basically, look at it like this. Common noun is more like a general name. It's more like a what? The general name given to maybe a group or an unspecified member of a group. Am I completing? There's no unlike proper noun where you have specific. Common noun is all what? Specified. So common noun is a name given to maybe a group of person, thing, or whatever, or given to an unspecified member of that what? Group. Look at what I mean. Kamsiyo Chukwu is a name, right? Is a proper noun. for Kamsi Yochku, right? Because Kamsi Yochku is specified, is a name specified for her. Kamsi Yochku. Is Kamsi Yochku a girl? You're a girl, right? Good. But if I just call you this girl, that girl, will I put capital letter? I mustn't put capital letter. What I want to say, girl, call you a girl or the girl. I mustn't put what? So girl is a common noun. Girl is a what? Common noun. But if you want to be specific on the girl you're talking about, Kamsi Yochku is the proper word. Noun. The same thing with boy or a man. I'm a man. My name is Chetanna. If you want to use proper noun referring to me, that C must be in what? Capital what? Letter. But proper noun, note something. Common noun can also be. Can someone tell me the condition in which a common noun can start with capital letter? Let me know someone that thinks here. Is there any condition in this life where a common noun can start with capital letter? Huh? If it starts a sentence, it's not true. It's not true. If you want to start a sentence, the first word, the first letter must be what? Capital letter. So if a common noun start a sentence, for example, it must start with what? Capital letter. But if it appears within a sentence, it should not be what? Capital letter. But for a proper noun, whether it is in the beginning of a sentence or in the middle of a sentence or at the end of a sentence, a proper noun must start with what? Capital letter. Does it make sense? Now, remember I told you that collective noun and common noun, they share some relationship. They share one or two things. Sometimes you may even, if you're not careful, you may refer collective noun as a common noun. Now, look at what I mean by that. Remember when I defined common noun, I said that common noun does what? Refers to what? General name, group. Now, as a group now, a class. Now, when these members, when it appears as a class, it becomes a what? Collective noun. Is it clear? Is it clear now? Is it clear? Remember I told you that when common nouns, it is general name that given to what? A person or thing that does what? Given to a group of it, right? Or a class of thing, right? Or person, but or an unspecified member of that group. See what I mean? Human beings is a group of living things, right? Right? Now, when you say girl, is girl not a human being? Is it specified the girl you are talking about? So girl is a common noun, right? Good. Now, if you say audience, human beings now, can you refer to it as just a common noun or collective? In terms of, is human being a class or group? So, does it fit more with collective noun or common noun? Even though you can still be common noun, but it's more what? Collective. Is it clear? Is it clear? Now, so audience. When you hear audience Audience is a group, right? A class. True or false? True or false? If you say an audience, there are people in the audience. True or false? So audience is a common noun, but it's more of a word. Collective, even though it's common. Does it make sense? Team, audience, team, audience, team. Is it making sense now? Audience, team. A football team. How many people make up a football team? How many? Football team. Is it 12? Is it 12? 11? Is it 11? Okay, but it's a team, right? Is this correct? If it appears in a sentence, is it correct? In the middle of the sentence, is wrong. It should be small words. Am I communicating? So a team, even though it's common, but it's more of what? Collective. Does it make sense? Now, another one is a committee. 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 Collective, right? They are members, right? Good. Now, let's go to unspecified member of a group. If you see something like country, a country. Country. Is country a proper noun or common noun? It's a common noun. So if you start with small letter, if it appears in a word, within a sentence, in the middle or at the end of a sentence. Country. City. What of city? City. Is city a common or proper noun? Is city a common or proper noun? Okay. City, is it common, proper or collective noun? Proper. City. There's no. It's not specified now. Remember, which city are you talking about? Is it specified? So it's a what? Common noun. Is it a collective noun? It's not collective. Is it collective? It's just common, but it's not collective. Boy. Is it common, proper, or collective noun? Common, right? Good. So we have discussed proper noun, common noun, collective noun. So if you see, if they appear in any question, you can identify which is which. True or false? True or false? Good. And if you want to use it in writing, you now know how to use them if you are writing anything. True or false? Good. Now let's go back to countable nouns. Countable nouns. Actually. Common nouns. Put it there. Common nouns are subdivided into countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Note this point, okay? Actually, common nouns are subdivided into what? Are further subdivided into what? Countable nouns and what? Uncountable nouns. Countable nouns and so what are countable nouns? I define what are countable nouns. Like accounts. Chief, what are countable nouns? The one you can count. Okay. So, countable nouns from the name, that the nouns you can count, but that is your primary school definition. So try to upgrade, okay? Just you can simply say that countable nouns are those nouns that differentiates singular from what? Plural. Is it clear? They are nouns that differentiate between what? Singular and what? Plural. They are nouns that differentiate between what? Singular and what? Plural. See what I mean? That means you can count them. What it means that countable nouns can exist as what? So we have singular form. Anytime they will tell you about a noun, remember when we discussed forms of noun, any noun that you can hear that you can have the singular form and the plural form, that noun is a countable noun. So you can differentiate between singular and what? Plural. So it's not because you can count it, that's why you can think of plural. It's not true. True of us? Yes. If you cannot count it, it will remain the way it is. So countable nouns are those nouns that differentiate between singular and what? Plural. And they are what? Countable. And they are what? Countable. Okay. Example of countable noun. From this noun set now, can you give me examples of countable nouns you know? Boy, good. What is the plural form? Boys, good. So boy, because boy can form plural, is a countable noun. Pen. What else? Do you want to give me an example? Bag. Bags, good. Any other example? Cow. 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 The plural form is what? What else? Book. Good. Books. Table. Tables. Okay. What else? Take you as many as possible. These things are countable now because you can count them. Okay, let's go to uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns are those nouns that does not distinguish plural from what? Singular. Or do not distinguish between plural and what? Singular. Uncountable nouns are those nouns that does not distinguish between singular and what? Plural. You cannot count them. You cannot count them. Something like this. Advice. Advice. Something like advice. Advice. Information. Advice. Information. Advice. Information. Furniture. Furniture. Can you count advice? Advice, information, furniture. I have seen some people, they will say, advices, furnitures, informations. That's wrong. You cannot count them. Information is information. Is it clear? Furniture is what? Furniture. Advice is what? Advice. You cannot count it. Whether they are the same thing, they're nothing like. That's why you cannot say an advice. Are you aware that an advice is wrong? A and an. What are they called? Determinants, right? No, sorry, we'll see do determinants. But I just want to explain something. A. If you say A, you use and A, they do the same thing. They talk about one thing, right? It's not what you can count that you can say one. A, right? True of us. Because you can count boys. You can say a boy. Aria. A means what? One, right? So if it's more than, it becomes a boy and boys. True of us. Two boys. A boy. Two boys. Three boys. True of us. You can count boys, right? But you can. That's why you cannot say, and you use a. If the before you use this before a noun, if the noun starts a what? Consonant. True or false? Yes. One, the noun must be countable. Two, it must start with what? Consonant before you can use a. That's why you can say a boy, a girl, because B is a consonant. G is what? Consonant. And boy and girl are countable. So you can easily say a boy, two boys, because it's countable. Now, elephants. Elephant starts with what? A vowel. You cannot say a elephant. You say an elephant. An elephant is countable. So you can easily say an elephant. True or false? Now, having that, because advice, information, and furniture, you now go and borrow that nonsense and come here and tell me an advice. Ooh, you fail woefully, because even though A in advice is a vowel, but advice is not countable. So you cannot say an advice. So you cannot use this quantifier there. You cannot say an advice, because advice is not countable. The same thing here. You cannot say an information. It's wrong, because information is not what? Countable. Here you now say, okay, F is a consonant. Let me now say a furniture. Ooh, it's wrong. Furniture is not what? Countable. You can say a piece of, you can quantify it if you must, but I say a piece of advice. A piece of advice is okay. You can say a piece of information. Am I communicating? Here, you cannot say a furniture. Don't worry, we'll still go into those areas, but I just want to explain something. Okay? Now, these nouns are what? Remember, they are say common noun. Remember I told you that common noun is also. Have you seen how powerful common noun is? For common noun we have collective noun. From the same common noun you start having what? Countable and what? Uncountable what? Nouns. Have you seen their links? Now let's continue. So the next one we want to look into is what? Concrete and abstract noun. So let's look at concrete noun. After we look at abstract noun. Okay. In the absence of any question, I wanted us to ask question, but in the absence of any question, let's look at concrete now. Okay, ask. What? Rice. No. It's not countable. You cannot say a rice. You must quantify. You can say a bag of rice. A cup of rice. You cannot just say a rice, two rices, two rices, three rices. You can say 3 grains of rice, a grain of rice. That's how you do it. It's not countable. You cannot say, but you can make it countable by adding. We call it. Don't worry. Let me not confuse you. We go there. When we start treating determinants and the other things, we go there. Let me not confuse you for now, but just know that you quantify it by adding some you can say a cup of rice, a bag of rice, a grain of rice. You cannot just say rices, 2 rices. A grammatical blunder. And such persons should go to grammatical prison and stay for like two months. Let's continue. Okay, now let's look at concrete noun. What are concrete nouns? What are concrete nouns? So concrete nouns are those one you can perceive with the senses. You can perceive concrete nouns with the senses, either by sense of touch. Are we together? By touch or by seeing it. Hello, you know how many sense organs do you have? Can you classify the sense of touch, right? What else? Taste, right? What else? Sight, taste, touch, smell, and what again? So any noun you can perceive by these senses is a concrete what? Noun. Hello, is a concrete what? Noun. So the noun perceivable by the 5 senses, either of the 5 senses of the body, is a concrete what? Noun. Concrete noun is a noun perceivable by any of the 5 senses of the body, is a concrete what? Noun. Something like, if you say ant, right? Ant is a concrete noun. True of us? Pen is a concrete noun. Phone is a concrete noun. Out of order. You feel cold, right? Is it concrete? These are concrete noun. Now, what of Abstract now, you cannot perceive it by sense. It's just a thing of the mind. An idea conceivable in the mind is an abstract now. So like freedom. Can you touch freedom? Can you touch freedom? Can you see freedom? Can you describe how freedom tests? But it's an idea you conceive in your mind. Something like what of love? Is love an abstract noun or a concrete noun? Is it not the mind? True of us? Good. You can find more examples of abstract noun. What of give me an example. We do something like that when we introduce this noun. When we define noun. Defense. Events. Okay. Events. Idea. Events. Okay. All right, these are the classes of noun. Any question? Any question? Ask. If you have any question, please ask. In our next class, we conclude functions of noun. Functions of noun. In our next class, we conclude the functions of noun. Please ask questions if you have any. Ask questions if you have any. If you don't have, I'll ask you. If you don't have any question, I'll ask you. Ask. Phone. A what? Define complete now.
Sounds like I'm perceiving senses.
It's your phone, right? Can't you hold your phone? Can't you touch your phone? Can't you? It's your phone. Touch it, feel it. Can't you see it? You wouldn't confirm. You can even see it. You can touch it. You can even smell it. Put it in your nose. As in, I'm just trying to tell her how concrete it is. Even though there's no particular smell. Although, yes, it may have, but just know that you can put it in, you can smell it if you want to. True of us. Any other question? Any other question? Ask question. No. Okay, now let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. The word equipment, what is the plural form of equipment? Equipment is what? Equipments. Equipment. Is it like equipment? Browse it now. Does it exist? Equipments. You don't know. Equipment is equipment. They are not like equipments. Please note that point too. They are not. Equipment is an uncountable noun. Baggage, baggages, baggage, 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 baggage. See what? Baggages. That's wrong. Oh. Baggage is baggage. They're not like what baggages. Please note this point. Luggage. What of luggage? Luggage is what? Luggage. They're not like luggages. You see some people, they will say offspring. Hey, offsprings. They're not like offspring, so it's wrong. Offspring is an uncountable noun. They're not like what? Offsprings. Offspring is an uncountable noun. Stationary. You know what stationary now? All these books, what have you. They're not like stationaries. It's wrong. Stationary is a, see what I mean? No, not stationary. See what I mean? Like books, writing materials, they're nothing like stationaries. Stationaries is wrong. They're not like stationaries. Junk. You say junks. Junk is junk. They're not like junks. Junks is junk. They're not like junks. It's junk. Junks is wrong. Is what? Junk is what? Junk. They're not like junks. Many of them.
But like this stationary, the current stationary is that one.
Is what?
Stationary.
Who wrote? Let me see what. Let me see the material. Where is it? There is something now. Stationary is not something with. This is E. That stationary is not. They don't have the same meaning. Look for E. Stationary. If A between N after N you have A R. That one is okay. But the one we are talking about is after N you have E.
But is there any difference between that one?
Yes, now.
What's the difference?
Huh? Huh? Stationary is total movements. Stationary is one place, movement. But stationary is you have what you use in writing materials, books. If you say that somebody is deals, somebody is into stationaries, writing materials, book, envelope, that's what the person sells. It's NE. Look for it. It's NE. Have you seen it? Stationary, see NERY, uncountable. Writing materials, envelope, office. Read it for us. Let's see here. Start from the read it out now.
Writing materials, envelope.
Start from the beginning.
From here.
Yeah.
Now, stationary, that is uncountable.
It's uncountable, yes. NERY, not NARY. NERY is uncountable.
Writing materials.
Writing materials, yes.
Envelopes.
Office materials.
I should continue.
When school finished, he threw all of his stationery. Did you see stationaries? Jam will give you this. You go and take stationaries. And you come out and jubilating that you wrote highest. So be careful, okay? All right, please. Any word you want to check, listen carefully. any word you want to check in the dictionary, once you go to that the dictionary, any noun you want to check out in the dictionary, once you go to the dictionary, if that word is countable, you will see C by the side. Uncountable, you see what? You. Am I getting? So, and mainly you. That's what means that is uncountable now. If it's a noun, you see N by the side. N will be there. Is it clear? These are things you check out in your dictionary. So, examples, let me just give you examples of uncountable nouns we know. We have behavior. Behaviors. They're not like behaviors, so behavior is what? Behavior. Underwears. We sell underwears. They write, maybe they sell it, they have shop in the market. If you see their logo, you see underwear. They're not like underwears. Underwear is an uncountable noun. They're not like underwears. Please note that. And many of them, please find out more on your own. All right, thank you very much for today's class. It's nice having you. So we meet again. I will drop your assignment in your WhatsApp so you can do it and have a better understanding of what we did today. All right, see you next time.
On Friday.
Friday, tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow.
Yeah,